what you should be doing. Meaning that if you set a boundary and not a rule, which I learned this recently, I believe her name is Raquel Martin, I believe, where there is a difference between a boundary and a rule. And a boundary is more so about what your plans are versus a rule telling someone what they have to do. So with a boundary, that looks like I'm not answering my phone after 10 p.m. Right? Example, let's say people keep calling your phone after 10 p.m. and maybe you, for yourself, can't answer because you have things to do, it interrupts you, things like that, right? So a boundary would be the person that keeps calling you after 10, you say, hey, I'm not answering my phone after 10 p.m. That's it. A rule would look like, don't call me after 10 p.m. Which, you can say that, but again, they can still choose to call you after 10 p.m. So a boundary looks like what you can actually control, which is just choosing not to answer your phone at 10 p.m. As opposed to, again, with the rule, you have no control over a person whether they choose to actually follow that rule or not. So with that boundary, you can literally just not answer your phone and they just have to deal with it. So just to give you a better example, so for, let's say it's a person that keeps either gaslighting you or something like that. Maybe it's a conversation that keeps getting turned around or however they're acting, right? So a boundary would look like, I'm not going to engage with you if you keep raising your voice. The rule looks like, don't talk to me like that. You can't say this. You can't say that. This is this. Those are rules. You can say that, but a person can still choose to still do that. So your boundary comes in just choosing not to engage because that's what you have control over. But I said all that to say that those are kind of some examples of things of how you can set boundaries, because sometimes when you set boundaries, it can make you feel bad because of how a person responds to your boundaries. So sometimes it makes you feel bad because of how they respond to it. But I want you to remember that boundaries are not meant to be liked. They're meant to be respected, and they're in protection of you. And if somebody is in opposition of you protecting yourself, then you already know where you stand with that person, okay? So again, remember, you're always going to be seen as difficult. Well, not always, but depending upon who you're dealing with. And in a lot of cases, people just don't like when people set boundaries for themselves, especially if they've been benefiting from them. So that's a whole different video. I'm already talking longer than I wanted to anyway. But again, if you're going to look like the difficult one once you start protecting yourself, depending upon who you're dealing with. But don't be afraid to do that, because again, it's for protection of you, and it's not to be liked. It's meant to be respected. But what y'all think?